The first service that we came to, a rabbi was preaching that day. And I think that alone sealed the deal. I was just so impressed with the openness and the connection that this church truly made to the community and to its faith and the exploration of that faith and of others.
Well, the most important aspect about being part of the MBCC family is it's similar to being part of any family. This is a family just like any other family. This church family has your back. They're there when you need them.
The number one thing the church brings to my life is a sense of family. Being a single person, the church really does become my family. You know, they're here for me when I have issues, you know, they're here for me on holidays. It's more than a family, it's a friendship. So it really becomes my home.
The number one thing that the church brings to my life is a sense of family. We care for each other, we take care of each other, and we just generally like each other. And that includes people who don't necessarily share our same opinions. We all get along.
I was basically born into this church, yes, and so why would I not stay here since I have lived here? And this church allows one to have the freedom of thought, which I respect very much that we're able to do.
I think one of the important things about that is the fact that regardless of what your politics are, people still support you and they love you. Whereas when you're outside, if somebody doesn't have the same political beliefs, a lot of times you just don't want to have anything to do with them. But in the church, we are family, and you love your family whether they believe exactly the same things as you do. And one of the things that I think is so wonderful about this church is that we're accepting. We have a daughter who's gay, and it's nice to know that people aren't saying she's going to go to hell, or how can you live with a child like that? Well, she's family. We support her. We love her and want everyone else to feel the same way. And I feel like this church does do that.
Interesting story. After I married my spouse, David, and a 10-year absence here from the South Bay, we came back and were looking for a church. And Manhattan Beach Community Church was one of several that we looked into. The thing that I most appreciate about this church is the sense of belonging and community.
And one year, my littlest guy came home from preschool, and he said, "Mama, is it true that the baby Jesus, Christmas is the baby Jesus' birthday?" And I said, oops, game changer. had a great energy about it. And young people were welcome here, and groups, and no one judged the fact that I divorced or any other thing. That didn't always fly everywhere, so I was pretty impressed.
So we started coming 9 years ago, and we became members about 7 years ago. So we hung out for a little bit before we committed. Yeah. The number one thing church brings to my life is God. I wasn't necessarily religious when we first started coming, and I didn't even think that I wanted to be, you know, but I think that the quality of what God has become through coming to this church, what it's brought to my life personally as I parent, as I interact with other people, by far the number one thing, which is good because it's church, so so God.
Our church gets me because it strives to welcome everyone. We have a motto that whoever you are or wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here. And I think that's just a very affirming and positive statement for this church to make, and I love it.
Our church gets me because it cares for me, it cares for others, it cares for the community at large, and that's important.
The church gets me because it lets me give back, which is really important to me.
This church understands me because I can be who I am. I don't need to be anybody but who I am.
Our church gets me because we are allowed to think for ourselves. We are not dictated to.
Yeah, the church understands me because they let me be who I am. And I'm comfortable being me, and I'm welcome here.
Because I'm a basket case. For that exact reason. I think our church gets me because it's open. It's open to interpretation. It's open to people, experiences. I think it's genuine, and I think it's real. That people are accepting and people are respectful of differences and similarities, you know? And I appreciate that.
You're welcome here.
You're welcome here.
You are welcome here.
You're 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 welcome.